What's going on, guys? I'll be Fitness Gaming, and you've seen the title of the video, you know why you're here. Oh my, look at those peaks. Knightfall, domain Knightfall. So I made some changes here. I'm going to have the deck list at the bottom. I'm also going to have the link to the previous video in the description below, so that you can check out the old deck list and the old gameplay and the old deck tech. So the changes we made, let's go through them here. So mana base, still the same, still playing the same mana base. That works very well for us. The changes that we've made are, we added 4 Ragavan, we removed 3 Prismatic Endings, and 1 Retreat to Coralhelm. So let's talk about those changes, why I made them. So one of the things about the deck as I was playing it is that the deck just seemed very slow. And I'm not saying it was like super slow. You can, because you're gonna always have like your turn 2, most likely Kavus and Scions. So you're a pretty aggressive deck, and you're pretty quick, and your mana curve's pretty low anyways. But I felt like it was missing that early pressure, and Ragavan just fills that spot so well because it's a first turn play. It's a turn 2 play. It's one of those cards that can get you ahead very quickly. And it plays very good in these decks. That's why obviously they play 4. Because you can play Ragavan and protect it. You can clear the way with lightning bolts, leyline bindings now with 1 ending. And then you have your counter magic to kind of protect it. Get in. You can accelerate your mana. And you can cast things like Teferi early on. Retreat. Night. Multiple spells a turn. So it's kind of like a piece that I think makes this deck a lot more consistent and better. It also gives you another creature, which at the end of the day we're trying to get in and smash and win that way. We took out a retreat. One of the reasons to play the retreat and Knight of the Reliquary combo in the domain zoo deck is that it doesn't require a lot of pieces for you to play, and it doesn't dilute the deck, right? So for example, Knight of the Reliquary on its own is not a terrible card in this deck. The other card that you would play in place of Knight of the Reliquary is the Brawler. Now the Brawler overall is a faster card to cast. It's 2 mana. But is it a better card? Maybe in this format it is, because the format is extremely fast and aggressive, and you don't really want to be tapping out to play another big beater. But Knight of the Reliquary does have attributes that makes it a better creature. For example, it doesn't rely on domain. It relies on your lands in your graveyard. So this deck plays a lot of fetch lands. So it's usually going to be a 4/4 or 5/5 or 6/6 very early in the game. With Scion of Draco, Knight of Reliquary gets Trample and Vigilance. So you can activate your Knight and attack on the same turn, which is extremely relevant. And it can get in. It's usually the biggest creature on the board anyway, so against opposing Kavus, it just wins. It plays very well with Wrenn and Six. Wrenn and Six allows you to put lands back in your hand. You can sack your Triomes, because again, with Knight of the Reliquary, you can fix your mana. You can also use it to accelerate mana. You can tap a mana, sack, grab another one. So it does have a lot of play to it. But you can sack your Triomes, then you can bring your Triomes back to your hand and cycle them away. So it could, with Wrenn and Six, provide card advantage. So that's one of the things about Knight of the Reliquary. It's just not a bad card to have in your zoo deck in the first place anyways. It's actually something you could probably debate whether or not it's better than Brawler, right? So that's one of the key things. And then you have Retreat to Coralhelm. You play a 1 of, right? It's just 1 slot in combination with Growth. So really 2 slots. But these cards are just not bad on their own anyways. Retreat, because you play so many fetch lands, because you have Wrenn and Six putting lands back in your hand, and you're going to constantly have a flow of landfall. You're able to tap down your opponent's creatures. You're able to untap your Kavus. You can play fetch lands, so you can do it at instant speed in combat. You can do nice little combat tricks. Teferi plays well. It keeps your opponent from interacting at instant speed, which gives you a huge advantage when you're doing things like that. It allows you to scry through your deck with your mana. So it's not a terrible card on its own. You can also tap down, an opposing threat. Sometimes they have one big creature that you need to just tap down, like a Worm Coil or an Archon, right? And then, of course, the rest is just, you know, plain zoo. You have your Remands for your temple plays. You have your Stubborn Denial, which plays good with your creatures, your Lightning Bolts, your Prismatic Ending, and your Leyline Bindings to get rid of problematic permanents. And then we have the sideboard here, which is untouched. But let's go ahead and get in some matchups here. So again, you know, just to touch base and piggyback, the combo is one of those things that you can add, and it's seamless. Some people will say, well, why not add a Keswick Wolfrun? And the thing is, one, it messes up your mana. You don't want to be doing that. You're already giving up a slot to the Grove. Can we get away with this? Let's try to get away with this. The other thing is you're not all in on the combo, right? So you're not trying to just make a retreat to Coralhelm, not a Reliquary combo, and you don't have the mana dorks. The mana dorks with retreat generate a lot of mana, which make Keswick Wolfrun really good. It's not as good without all those things, and it also hurts your mana, and it's not your number one game plan. So, you know, these are all things that are there situations where the Keswick Wolfrun is needed? Yeah, it happened to me the other day. I was playing against Affinity, and they had a bunch of creatures, and I didn't have a Scion of Draco to give my Knight Trample, and I was kind of just sitting there with like a 18/18 Knight. But, you know, it is what it is. Like, it's not gonna be perfect, right? There's always gonna be those small situations where you're like, oh, I wish I had this card, but more often than not, you don't need it. Alright, so we're going against Tron. So we definitely need some lands. Okay. Ain't bad, man. Ain't bad. If this was a map, we would take the map. But it's not. So either they kept a bad hand, or they already have Tron in their hand. Which, if you watch my videos, every player that plays Tron that we play against always has Tron on turn 3 seamless. It never fails. And you know, this is a great example. Like, this is one of those games where you look, you're playing Tron, you got the turn 2 Knight of Reliquary, you're like, oh man, I wish I was playing one Ghost Quarter, right, to buy me an extra turn. But like, you know, yeah, it's good here, but overall it's just not that good. I mean, we're playing a 5-color deck. Yeah, so they're gonna have Tron on turn 3. Because, you know, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. That's just how it rolls, man. Alright, Stubborn Denial. Not bad. Ain't bad, man. We're going to need Stubborn. But we're also going to need to put a... so let's do this. Let's just attack. I'm going to attack here. And this is, you know, another reason why to play Knight, right? Like, we can do stuff like this. Let's get rid of this. Play a Windswept Heath. Play this. Oh no, we messed up. We messed up. Oh god. We were supposed to get a breeding pool. No. Alright, so we were supposed to get a breeding pool there. And then we were supposed to cast a Knight and leave up Stubborn Denial. And then possibly win the next turn. We would have had some massive Knights. We would have got in for like 12, and then we would have bolted them. Game would have been over. But they may not have Tron. They may not have Tron, and we may get lucky. Which right now things are looking good. Yeah. So all right. So we're good. But anyways, you know, the point is there. I was talking and I got distracted. But we were supposed to get a breeding pool. We were supposed to cast Knight, have a token ready, and Stubborn Denial and win. We're still gonna get there, but that was risky. We're gonna untap this here. We know they have that Warping Whale, or they have Warping Whale in their deck, I must say, so we want to counter anything here that can stop us from winning. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so even with the misplay, playing against Tron, we got there. The Knight of the Reliquaries that you guys can see there, along with the Ragavan, getting them down early. These things are just beastly. They were able to fix our mana, so you can see the power there. Alright, keep the companion. Oof. This hand ain't got nothing. We're gonna mulligan this. Okay, we're gonna keep this. We kept a one lander last game. Against decks like Tron, I mean, they could have removal for the Ragavan. We're really relying on no interaction from them. Steam Vents. I think we have to get a Steam Vent here. Okay, so they could probably have Warping Whale in hand, or they could just be saving it to crack this at end of turn. We really needed a land there to get this Knight in play. Once we got the Knight in play, we can start like generating some extra mana to play creatures. You know, the thing about keeping one landers with Domain is that Domain Zoo, more often than not, it pays off. But then you get put in situations where it just doesn't work. But, I mean, what are you going to do? It's Magic. Yep, Tron. Turn 3. Never fails. Yep. Not the worst. Not the worst. But we got nothing. So now we're pretty much got stuck here because we have no lands. They have Oblivion Stone. We don't really want to commit more to the board because they can just pop it, and then we're stuck with one land. Yep. Yeah, this is over. Yeah, they're too far ahead at that point. They have the Oblivion Stone. You know, they can take our land with Karn, or they can just plus the Karn, which is probably what they would do, and just sit back with the Oblivion Storm, put a counter on it, and yeah, you saw the writing on the wall. On the play, because we have Ragavan and we can start cheating things in, this is a decent hand. I don't like seeing plains, but I'd rather see plains than no land here. This can take a map if need to be. So the play is Steam Vent, Ragavan. Depending on what they play, if they play a map, hopefully they have a hand where it relies on map. They play map, we take the map, sets them back, and you know, we get the party started. We have a decent hand here that can get it done. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness. Okay. Do that. Mana was a lot worse than I thought, but keep forgetting that Windswept Heath just doesn't get Steam Vents. Probably could replace a Windswept for a Misty Rainforest, but not sure how. I would have to look at the mana and really see if it's worth it. Alright, so we're going to take that. Okay, perfect. We drew into a land. So we're going to be able to play Kavu here. And take this, which is what we need to do. We got to slow them down. Now we can get our breeding pool here. And now we're cooking with gas. Prismatic Ending has been surprisingly really good in this game. I mean, in this deck. I was a little hesitant, you know. I'm like, man, I really like Tribal Flames, but Ending just really gives you that early interaction that I felt like this deck needed. Leyline is great, but it's a little slow. All right. So we definitely are just going to play the Wrenn. We're going to cycle with the Kavu, so we'll do this. Should have probably held on to the plains here, and so but we're going to be able to get a token, but that was sloppy. That was a sloppy play, by the way. Should have. I guess we get rid of this. Remand. Okay, that's not bad. So yeah, should have played the fetch. Grabbed the Triome or something with black, and been able to get in with 5. But to be fair, if we would have done that, we would have not had Remand up, right? So luckily, I mean, I guess we could have left the fetch, then got a Overgrown Tomb. Okay, so we're gonna Remand this. In other words, our mistake, or possibly might have not been a mistake, paid off. But retrospect, we could have played this, grabbed the Overgrown Tomb. Okay, so right now we're in pretty good shape. They're far away from Tron. And we got 2 turn clock. And depending on what we draw, it might be 1. Draco. Teferi. Not bad. Ain't bad, man. So I'm going to actually ping the opponent here. So the reason I did that is, let's say they get a bridge or something. You know, even though we could probably still attack with these, but let's just say something happens where we can't attack into them. They're at 4. We ping them next turn, we bolt them, we win the game. So just playing very cautious there, but there's really nothing there. It's really, this thing is not going to do anything, right? Putting another land in our hand. All right, so there is a game there. Tron, a little bit of fumble with the lands. As you can see, the lands in Domain Zoo are one of the things that you really got to pay attention to. You really got to slow down, and that's something that I always got to work on, is slowing down, understanding what to grab, when to play your land, because this deck requires you to really take your time when it comes to your mana base. But as you saw there, you saw the power of Ragavan, just like in any time you play them in Domain. You can keep your 1-landers. It can get you there more often than not. Prismatic Ending always seems to impress me. I always want to play more of it. But it just happens to always do its job when it's there. We didn't draw into Retreat, which was fine. One of the games we saw how fast Knight of Reliquary can close the game. Also, the utility factor of being able to fix our mana and instantly and one activation played a big role, and they became 6/6s, almost immediately. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about the deck, comment at the bottom. Any recommendation, comment at the bottom. Other than the misplays that I mentioned, let me know. We're all trying to get better as a whole. Any recommendation for the deck, any card you want to see, any cards that you may think, should be in the deck that you didn't see, that you have any questions, comment at the bottom. I'll be available to answer those questions. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck. I'm having a ball playing this version of Domain Zoo. It's very fun. And again, my friends, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, and take care.